As you're walking out the door, we'll get this question in from our buddy Ralph because he's a faithful viewer and he wants to know your opinion about the SEC going to a 9-game conference season. Of course, that's not going to happen real soon, although they're going to address. So if nobody's aware, what you're seeing in the SEC scheduling wise in 2024, you're going to see the exact thing next season, just everybody's flipping home and road assignments, and then they will reevaluate. So your thoughts about the SEC playing 9 conference games?
Yeah, well, Ralph, I appreciate the question. I think it's a great question, and I think it will happen. Yeah, I think in the coming years, it's hard to put an exact date on it. I think Mark, there were a lot of people that pushed back and didn't love the idea of just flipping the schedule. I think that was the SEC kicking the can down the road. I think a 9-game conference schedule is coming. I think one of the reasons we're seeing some of these big non-conference matchups, these series canceled, I think could probably be because that's coming. And I don't think the SEC is going to want to entertain playing, big non-conference matchups if you have 9 SEC games to deal with. I just – I think that lessens your chance of making the college football playoff. You could potentially be adding to the loss, and nobody wants to do that, right? It's not good for business. I don't think Greg Sankey wants to do that. So I do think a 9-game conference schedule is coming, Mark, and it's not because, I don't think it's going to be because, it's for the betterment of the game or it's for this or for that. It's going to be because the SEC and ESPN and ABC struck a massive, massive TV deal. I mean, Mark. I mean, let's face it. College football, it's all about money now, especially when you're talking about something like this. So I think the 9-game conference schedule will happen, and I think the SEC will be paid handsomely for it. And I think Greg Sankey is playing chess, not checkers, when it comes to this. But I do think in the near future, let's just say within the next 5 years, maybe within the next 3, I think we will have a 9-game conference schedule in the SEC.
Oklahoma and Florida definitely don't like that repeat 2024 to 2025. Have you ever seen anything like Florida's going to face the final 5 games in particular, but even if you extend it to 7, it's Kentucky and Tennessee at the beginning of that. It's just incredible.
They may have, Mark, the most difficult schedule in college football history. And I don't want to be like recency bias or over-exaggerate, but I don't know if it's an over-exaggeration. I mean, there's, when you look at schedules, Mark, you kind of break it down to like, you like to look at games, okay, win, toss-up, loss, we'll kind of go from there. Their one game on the schedule you look at is like, okay, give them the dub, Samford. Outside of that, where is there a guaranteed win? I mean, even UCF is dangerous. I mean, KJ Jefferson's at quarterback, Gus Malzahn dialing it up. They added some nice portal pieces. They already had a pretty solid team from last year, Mark. So, I mean, then you got Miami and Florida State in the non-con. And those 2 teams might play in the ACC championship. So, yeah, that's why one of the reasons why, Mark, I as we've gotten closer to kickoff, I've really moved into the mindset. I think Billy Napier's back next year, barring they go 2-10. I've got Florida going 5-7, and I think he's still going to be back. Mark, what is the value in firing Billy Napier after this season and bringing in a new coach to face that gauntlet in 2025? I mean, you don't want to stick with the guy if you really, truly believe he's not the guy, but at some point, maybe it's better to just let Billy take the licks. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's the better way of doing it. You also don't want to lose DJ Lagway. And again, I'm not saying keep the wrong coach for one prospect, but Mark, the way they talk about DJ Lagway, I've heard them comparing to Lamar Jackson. Like, they're really high on this kid. So, it's a schedule in which, Mark, if they go 8-4, they should be in the college football playoff. That's how difficult.
That was going to be my next statement.
That's how difficult the schedule is. They should be in the playoff if they go 8-4. So, yeah, I mean, it's a bowl game or better for Billy Napier this year. He should get consideration for SEC Coach of the Year. I know he won't, but that's how tough the schedule is.
I am right there with you, Chris. Awesome stuff out of you, as always, man. Great to see you. Everybody check out SEC Unfiltered. You see the X handles for both Chris's personal account and SEC Unfiltered. So get on over there. Check out all that they've got to offer leading into week 1. Chris, great to see you. Appreciate you being here. You're welcome anytime, sir.
Mark, always a pleasure, my friend. We'll definitely make this a more frequent thing, and we'll have you on the airwaves before we get to kickoff. So appreciate everybody that tuned in. Check us out, SEC Unfiltered. Be greatly appreciated. And like I said, Mark, we'll get you on the airwaves here sooner rather than later.
Awesome, Chris. Thanks, man. Have a good day.